हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी, गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी, यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना, यशोदानन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना, यमुनातीरावनचारी, जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा, प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा, जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद। निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि बोल। Today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto. Canto is entitled The Science of God. 5th chapter, Prahlad Maharaj, the saintly son of Hiranyakashipu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya। Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया, भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Verse number 28 and 29. Verse number 28 is as follows. श्री गुरुपुत्र उवाच न मत्प्रणीतं न परप्रणीतं, सुतो वदत्तेष तवेन्द्र शत्रो, नैसर्गिकीयं मतिरस्य राजन्, नियच्छ मन्युं कददा स्म मानः। Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The son of Shukracharya, Hiranyakashipu's spiritual master, said, O enemy of King Indra, O king, whatever your son Prahlad has said was not taught to him by me or anyone else. His spontaneous devotional service has naturally developed in him. Therefore, please give up your anger and do not unnecessarily accuse us. It is not good to insult a Brahmana in this way. Verse number 29. Shri Narada Uvacha Gurunaivam Prati Prokto Bhuya Aha Surah Sutam Nachet Gurum Mukhiyam Te Kuto Abhadrasati Matihi. Shri Narad Muni continued, when Hiranyakashipu received this reply from the teacher, he again addressed his son Prahlad. Hiranyakashipu said, "You rascal, most fallen of our family, if you have not received this education from your teachers, where have you gotten it?" Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that devotional service is actually Bhadra Sati, not Abhadra Asati. In other words, knowledge of devotional service can be neither inauspicious nor contrary to etiquette. To learn devotional service is the duty of everyone. Therefore, the spontaneous education of Prahlad Maharaj is supported as auspicious and perfect. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschat Deshatarine. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So beginning from this chapter, we are listening how Hiranyakashipu has entrusted Prahlad, his son, to the sons of his spiritual master Shukracharya. Their names are Shanda and Amarak. So Shanda and Amarak, they act as the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj. They take him to their Gurukul, where Prahlad is taught according to the wishes of Hiranyakashipu what he wants his son to be. So Hiranyakashipu, as he was the king of demons, he wanted his son to be trained and instructed in the manners of how to rule the world, how to control others, how to exploit others for our own gratification, our own selfish motives and interests. So Shanda, Amar, they are very expert at doing these things, and they start teaching Prahlad the tenets of Sam, Dam, Danda, Ved, how we should appease someone if we want something from them. That is called Sam. And Dam means we give them some allurements, some monetary benefits, some position, and we try to extract whatever we need from others. And if someone doesn't listen to that also, then there is the next step, that is called Bhed. You create differences amongst two groups and take benefit of the situation. And even that doesn't work, then comes Danda. That is, you punish the person and get the work done from him. So we are into this episode, and it has happened once that Prahlad was brought before Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu had asked Prahlad, please let me know, oh my dear son, what do you think is the best of all the subjects you have studied from your teachers? So Hiranyakashipu had given him a broad choice to choose from all the subjects what best he likes. And Prahlad Maharaj had replied that as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, O king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, any person who accepts a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxieties because of having fallen in a deep dark well where there is no water but suffering. So, in other words, he is telling his father that the premise of your life, how you are living your life, leading your life, is on a very wrong platform. You are, in fact, suffering terribly, and still you are not aware of it. You are entrapped in a deep, dark well where there is a lot of darkness, no water, only suffering. That is how a life centered around self enjoyment is seen by learned people. And Prahlad Maharaj, he offers remedy also. If such a person is in a distressful condition, as distressful as being in a deep dark well, he should go to one, specifically, more specifically to Vrindavan, where Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and there he should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Hiranyakashipu gets very angry, and he tells Chanda and Amarak that this is the first time it's happening. So take care, our enemy should not pollute my son's intelligence. So you take him back, and whatever I have told you, Sam, Dam, Danda, Bhed, all the demoniac ideologies and all the demoniac ways of manipulating people, Prahlad should be adept and expert at it. Again, they take Prahlad, and they ask very politely, peacefully to Prahlad just to extract how he got exposed to the enemy's philosophy. And Prahlad, he very candidly replies back. He tells his teachers, in fact, he is teaching his teachers. He is telling that, see, you are making a distinction, my friend, my enemy. This distinction is not a sign of a learned man. It's not how an intelligent man talks. And you are asking me how you got exposed to the enemy camp. So this is not a very intelligent proposition. And Prahlad, he preaches to them. He says that one becomes a Pandit. Pandit means a very learned man when Lord Vishnu, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is pleased with the devotional service of a living entity. And then the living entity, the person thinks that every one of us is an eternal servant of God. So we are not different from one another. So Prahlad Maharaj tells that enemy and friend, these are superfluous terms in relation to the body. The soul doesn't have to relate with enemy and friend terminologies. So Prahlad Maharaj says that Lord Krishna has given me the intelligence. Even great demigods like Brahma, who is the most intelligent person in this universe, he is bewildered in following devotional service principles sometimes. So what to speak of you? You have also erred in judging me. And same Supreme Personality of Godhead has given me the intelligence to see things in a crystal clear manner. How the same Supreme Personality of Godhead has given me the intelligence. And he says that the living entity's attraction towards Lord Krishna is not an artificial imposition on the soul. Just like an iron filing is attracted to a piece of magnet, my consciousness has changed by the will of Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu, and it is attracted to him. So I don't have any independence. So Shanda and Amarak, they again get angry with Prahlad, and then they chastise Prahlad. They follow their rigorous study program for training Prahlad. They resort to threatening Prahlad. They wanted to beat him, and then they say that Prahlad is like a cinder who is going to burn the kingdom of the demons. Second example they give is, they say that Prahlad is like a thorn tree in a forest of sandalwood trees. And if you want to cut a sandalwood tree, then you need to have an axe. Lord Vishnu is the axe, and the handle of the axe is this Prahlad, who is like a thorn tree. And they are going to cut down the entire kingdom of the demons. So they chastise, threaten their student in so many ways, and then again they train him in the principle about the paths of economic development, religiosity, and sense gratification. Again, now this is second time Prahlad is brought before Hiranyakashipu. After their teacher Shanda and Amarak feel that now Prahlad has been sufficiently trained how to deal with other people, Sam, Dam, Dandavir, and they bring Prahlad again to his mother. His mother prepares Prahlad nicely, washes the boy, adorns him with nice sufficient ornaments and dress. And Hiranyakashipu, who had great affection for his son, he again takes Prahlad on his lap, cuddles him, smells his head, tears rolling down from his eyes, and he asks again, so whatever you think is the best of knowledge, let me know. Prahlad again, this time he says, hearing and chanting about the glories of Lord Krishna, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, he says that ninefold process of devotional service. These ninefold processes of devotional service are accepted as pure devotional service. And one who accepts this process of devotional service through these 9 modes of application, he should be understood to be the most learned person, because he has acquired complete knowledge. Now Hiranyakashipu gets furious, and he gets extremely angry, trembling, his lips are trembling, and he asks his his appointees, the teachers, you are most wretched sons of Brahmana. You have disobeyed my order, and my son has been trained with the doctrine of the enemy, and I think you have taken shelter of the enemy. And he scolds Shanda and Amarak. He says that you are like a disease. As diseases manifest in a sinful person as a matter of time, similarly, friends who are deceiving, they are deceptive friends, eventually they become their animosity becomes manifest. So you are acting like my enemy. You were portraying yourself that you are my friends, you are helping me in training my son, but you have in fact trained him in the opposite way. So this brings us to today's verse, that the sons of Shukracharya are addressing Hiranyakashipu, O enemy of King Indra. whatever your son Prahlad has said, he was not taught by us. This spontaneous devotional service has naturally developed in him. So please give up your anger and please don't accuse us unnecessarily. And then Narad Muni, who is telling this story to Yudhishthir Maharaj, Narad Muni addresses Yudhishthir Maharaj. He is telling, when Hiranyakashipu received this reply, he addresses Prahlad Maharaj and he says that your mati is abhadra and asati. Kuto abhadra asati mati. Abhadra means inauspicious and asati means very bad. Your mati, your inclination is very inauspicious and it is very bad. So you tell me, you haven't received it from your teacher, then where have you gotten it from? And Srila Prabhupada describes in the purport that whenever Hiranyakashipu addresses Prahlad with some words which are not very nice words, kind words, but those words are taken in a positive way by the acharyas. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that actually Prahlad's devotional service is Bhadra and Sati. Bhadra means very auspicious and Sati means Sati means excellent. So devotional service is Bhadra and Sati, but Hiranyakashipu addresses it as Abhadra and Asati. And Prabhupada makes 2-3 statements here. He says that knowledge of devotional service can be neither inauspicious nor contrary to etiquette. To learn devotional service is the duty of everyone. Therefore, the spontaneous education of Prahlad Maharaj is supported as auspicious and perfect. So in this world is called the world of dualities. Every action we do, it may be pleasing to someone, it may not please the other person. Like we hear so many examples. There was a very miser person and he was a businessman and he was about to die. And when his last time he was just about to die and he started crying. One of his relatives died and he took him to crematorium and he started crying there. And someone asked, why are you crying so much? Are you grieved that your relative has died? He said, no, I am crying because I feel my life is a waste. I didn't fully utilize my life. If I had gone into timber business for arranging for these funerals, arranging wood for the funerals, then I would have earned a lot of money. So in this world, one man's food is another man's poison. Like if we see if there is a disease, widespread disease, pandemic, then most of the people, they are unhappy about it because they have to face the bad consequences of health. They have to spend a lot of money. Many people die. There is a lot of uncertainty. Economic consequences are there. But there are some businesses, people are happy about it. Pharma industries and hospitals, they want more and more business. So this is one example and one perspective of looking at it. So there is one very nice verse which Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu quotes in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He says that द्वैते भद्रा अभद्र ज्ञान सब मनोधर्म एई भाल एई मंद एई सब भ्रम. So in this material world, the conception of good and bad are all mental speculations. So I may feel that eating something, some nice relishable item is good thing for me today. Maybe a sweet rasmalai or gulab jamun. And if I get diabetes after a few years, then that thing is a poison, acts like poison for me. So in this material world, whatever we feel is experience, if it is good today, it may not be good tomorrow. If it is good for a boy, it may not be good for an adult man. So these are all mental speculations. So if we say that this is good and this is bad, it is all a mistake. And here we are discussing about education. So education also, good and bad education, if we look at it, then the so-called education system we have, we cannot label it as good or bad. But one thing which scriptures tell is absolute good is devotional service to Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna, the supreme absolute truth, we can for sure say, based on the evidence of scriptures, that devotional service is the most auspicious process a living entity can adopt, and the fruits will be most auspicious. That is the meaning of Bhadra and Sati. Bhadra, Sati. So devotional service is Bhadra and Sati. So Krishna is the absolute truth, and he is ever existing with different varieties of energies. But when one comes under the influence of the illusory energy of Krishna, he cannot understand Krishna. So we cannot ascertain what is good and bad for us. If the living entity who is the part and parcel of God, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So he is part and parcel of Lord Krishna, but he forgets that he is the eternal servant of Krishna, and he wants to enjoy this material world by devising different plans. And at that time he distinguishes between good plans and bad plans, but they are all false. Again, Lord Krishna is telling Uddhav in 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. On the similar line, he is telling that anything not conceived in relation to Krishna should be understood to be illusion. Kim bhadram kim abhadram va dvaitasya avastunah kiyat, which is temporary existence. We cannot label it as absolute good. The illusion created by words or conceived in the mind, they are not factual. Vachoditam tad anritam. Anritam means it doesn't have permanent existence. Avastuna means it has temporary existence. So this illusion is not factual. So if I feel that this thing is good or bad, this is illusion because it is in relation to the material object or material situation or a person. But when we are speaking about the absolute truth, then these terminologies don't apply, good or bad. Krishna is absolute truth, and everything in relation to Krishna, direct relation to Krishna, through the authorized process of devotional service is absolute good for the living entity. Bhagavad Gita again describes that learned in fifth chapter, what is the vision of a learned man? विद्या विनय संपन्ने ब्रह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनि चैव स्वपाके च पंडिताः समदर्शिना. One who is actually learned in spiritual understanding, he has equal vision for different categories of living entities. By virtue of his true knowledge, he sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater. So these are all different categories of living entities: a learned Brahmana, gentle Brahmana, a cow, a dog eater, an elephant. They are seen with equal vision by a spiritually advanced personality. And Prahlad Maharaj, he was on that platform. He wasn't looking at his own father or his teachers who were torturing him to be his enemies also. He was looking at them as spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, and he was preaching to them also because of his compassion. He was preaching to his father, he was preaching to his teachers also, that don't create this distinction between friend and enemy. This is all illusion. Krishna is the supreme father, and all living entities are related to him as their parts and parcels. So no one is other person's enemy or friend. So this is real education. And Bhagavad Gita 13th chapter, the different aspects of knowledge, different aspects of knowledge are described in 8th verse to 13th verse. And Lord Krishna tells Arjuna that if we understand these aspects of knowledge, then that is only considered knowledge. Everything else, excluding these qualities and these aspects, is not considered knowledge. So Krishna says, amanitvam adambhitvam. So this is real vidya. Amanitvam means humility. Adambhitvam means pridelessness. Ahimsa means non-violence. So we are going to discuss these terminologies very briefly. Amanitvam means one should become a perfect gentleman and learn to give proper respect to others. So this is the culture of knowledge, and this is called real education. Adambhitvam means we should not pretend to be a religionist simply for name and fame. I am a great follower of religion, and I am because of the status I have of being a follower of religion, I should get name and respect and fame. This is called dambha. Adambhitvam is the quality of knowledge. Amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa. Ahimsa means we should not be a source of anxiety to others by the actions of our body, mind, and words. Ahimsa. Kshanti. Kshanti means forbearance. Even if we are provoked by others, we should learn forbearance. We should learn to tolerate. Arjavam means one's dealings should be simple with others. We should not be duplicitous in our dealings with others. Acharya Upasanam, we should learn to seek shelter of a bona fide spiritual master uh, who can lead us gradually to the stage of spiritual realization. And we should serve the spiritual master in a very humble manner and render service, ask relevant questions to him. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam means that one should become a scientist or philosopher and conduct research into spiritual knowledge. Tattva Jnanartha Darshanam. We should recognize that spiritual knowledge is permanent, whereas material knowledge ends with the death of the body. So we keep hearing, if we acquire a degree, a postgraduate degree, a doctorate degree in this particular life, and the person dies, then next life he doesn't recall all the degrees and all the knowledge he has learned. He has to start from right from the first letter alphabet. He has to learn it again. So a real knowledgeable person, intelligent person, he recognizes that material knowledge ends with the death of the body. We should follow the regulative principles ordained by revealed scriptures. Revealed scriptures give some rules and regulations for the advancement and purification of the practitioner, spiritual practitioner. So we should try to follow those principles. We have to be fixed in the tenets of revealed scriptures. And we should not accept more than what is necessary for the maintenance of the body. And we should be very careful that we cultivate habits and practices which are helpful for spiritual realization. We should not do something which is detrimental to the interest of self-realization. And we should not falsely identify with gross material body or the things which are in relation to the body. And one more aspect is dukkha doshanu darshanam, janma mrityu jara vyadhi, dukkha doshanu darshanam. As long as the material body is there, the person has to experience birth, old age, disease and death. No matter what remedies, no matter what resorts we adopt, it's going to be inevitable. Nowadays there are many things coming up. People preserve cord blood of a baby, hoping that in the future, if there is some treatment available for an incurable disease or some organ failure, the cells, stem cells in the cord blood might be of help. So this is one of the ways how modern science is coming up with different ways to counteract the miseries of birth, old age, disease and death. People are doing organ transplants, organ donations. But a knowledgeable person, even if he resorts to all these things, he knows that as long as the body is there, birth, old age, disease and death, every person has to experience. So the best course is to find out the means by which one can regain the spiritual identity and become immortal. Spiritual immortality. He has to search for the spiritual immortality. So these are some aspects of knowledge which Lord Krishna talks about in 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And total is around 18 items of knowledge um, when we practice these items, then real knowledge gradually can be developed. And whatever else besides these processes, besides these items, can be included in the category of nations, Agyan. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a great acharya, and he maintained that all forms of material knowledge are merely the external features of illusory energy. And if we cultivate, culture them, then we are no better than an ass. Vidyar vilase katainu kal parama sahase ami. And this principle has been found in Sri Ishopanishad. Ishopanishad talks about real knowledge in 10th verse. Anyad evahur vidya, anyad ahur avidya. One result is derived by the culture of knowledge. Another result is derived by the culture of nations. Iti shushruma dhiranam yena stad vichachakshri. So who decides what is knowledge and what is nations? That is decided by Lord Krishna and his bona fide representatives, who are addressed as a dhira person here. Dhira means a sober person whose mind is crystal clear, clean, and who has connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Super Soul, Paramatma. Such a dhir, sober person can explain the tenets of knowledge. Any person who self-proclaimed person who advocates himself to be a teacher cannot be the proponent of spiritual knowledge. So Ishopanishad warns us about this faulty type of education, and Bhagavad Gita gives us the instructions how we should develop real knowledge. So this knowledge or vidya should be received, acquired from a dhira. Dhira means who is not disturbed by material illusion. A dhira recognizes that this material body and mind he has acquired by chance through the material association, that is not his real identity. So he simply uses this body and the material situation to the best of his ability. He makes best use of a bad bargain. So material body and mind are a bad bargain for the spiritual living entity. Living entity's actual existence is spiritual world, but this material world is temporary and it is dead. Spiritual world is ever existing. And if you try to manipulate the dead matter in this material world, the world appears to be real. It appears to be moving. But the living entity who are parts and parcels of God, Lord Krishna, they make the world move. And the person called Dhira, or a sober person, he understands all these facts from superior authorities, and he has realized this knowledge also by following the process, by following the regulative principles. And if we want to follow regulative principles, we have to take shelter of a spiritual master, bona fide spiritual master. So Arjuna became Dhira by submissively hearing from Lord Krishna. So the disciple should be like Arjuna, and the spiritual master should be as good as Lord himself. Then the transmission of knowledge takes place. Vidya is received from a dhira. An adhira person cannot be an instructive leader. So Srila Prabhupada says that modern leaders who may include politicians, so-called teachers, so-called religious teachers also. If they are not dhira, then perfect knowledge we cannot receive from them. So this is something about the real education, what is discussed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And Prahlad Maharaj, he had attained the highest state of spiritual realization. And so he was not looking at any living entity as his friend or enemy. So he was not afraid of any situation in his life. Even though Hiranyakashipu tortured him in many different ways, and he was thrown in a pit of snakes, he was thrown from a mountain, he was cast into an ocean, he was put into a boiling oil pan, he was poked with many different weapons and sharp objects, but he didn't find any situation distressing, because he had taken shelter of Lord Krishna. And that is the situation he is explaining to Shanda and Amar. But Hiranyakashipu, his mentality was completely opposite. He was on the Nishian's side of things. What we discussed, the aspects of knowledge, they were all lacking in him, because he didn't have a bona fide spiritual master. Rather, he didn't accept any bona fide spiritual master to make his life successful. But Prahlad Maharaj, he had perfected the science of spiritual realization. He was the topmost. He was on the topmost level of spiritual existence, and that was the stage of Mahabhagavata devotee, Uttam Adhikari devotee. He wasn't distinguishing between friend and enemy. So Prahlad Maharaj offers nice prayers in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Prahlad Maharaj, he stays with the demon residents on an island called Harivarsha. Harivarsha is part of Jambudvip, one of the 9 tracts of land on the Jambudvip. And Harivarsha, in Harivarsha, the presiding deity is Lord Nrsimhadev, and Prahlad Maharaj is the leader of all the living entities residing in Harivarsha, and he offers very nice prayers. And one of the prayers is that he says, Hari hi sakshat bhagwan sharirinam atma jhashanam ivatoyam ipsitam. Prahlad Maharaj says that just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, atma jhashanam ivatoyam ipsitam. Jhashanam means all the aquatics. They want to reside in water. Toyam ipsitam. Similarly, all the conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Harihi Sakshat Bhagwan Sharirinam. All the Shariris, all the living entities, embodied living entities, they want to be in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Harihi Sakshat Bhagwan Sharirinam. Atma Zashanam Iva Toyam Ipsitam. The Lord is the most dearmost object for a living entity. And he says, Prahlad Maharaj says further, if someone with very great material calculations fails to take shelter of the super soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Hitva mahamstam yadi sajjate grihe tada mahatvam vayasa dampatina. So Srila Prabhupada used to say that Krishna consciousness Krishna Bhakti, the practice of Krishna Bhakti, devotional service, is not an artificial imposition on a spirit soul. It is his natural condition of existence, where he finds unlimited spiritual pure happiness in service of Lord Sri Krishna. But if the living entity under illusion doesn't want to accept such knowledge which is transmitted through the bona fide representatives, devotees of Lord Krishna, through the message of Srimad Bhagavatam, through the message of Vedic scriptures, then it is his misfortune. And we should take opportunity of this knowledge which is given in the scriptures, which is given by all the great spiritual teachers, and make the human life successful. So Prahlad Maharaj further says, "O demons, tasmad rajo raga vishada manyu." He says that you give up all your passionate material desires, rajo raga, all the material attachments you have, passionate desires you have. These desires are actually source of vishad, disappointment. They bring disappointment and manyu, anger. Manas priha bhaya dhainyadhi moolam. So if one is attached in this material world to so-called petty pleasures, then his situation is very precarious. He has to experience all the indefatigable desires, unlimited desires. He has to experience moroseness, anger, despair, man, bhaya, dainya, fear, desire for false prestige. And all of these things cause the living entity to take birth again and again in this material existence. If one is entangled in such materialistic affairs, then it is very unfortunate condition which brings forth so many unwanted, unpleasant experiences for the living entity. Tasmad rajo raga vishada manyu, manas priha bhaya dainyadhi moolam. And all these experiences come to the living entity because of his attachment to enjoy in this material world. Hitva graham samsriti chakravalam. And he advises his demon friends, Nrsimha padam bhajata akuto bhayam iti. So if you want fearlessness in this material world, then you have to take shelter of Lord Nrsimhadeva's lotus feet. So in this manner, Prahlad Maharaj is giving nice lessons to the residents of Harivarsha and to all of us through his wonderful prayers, which are there in 18th chapter of 5th canto Srimad Bhagavatam. And we get to know what real education is. Devotional service to Lord Krishna is Bhadra, the most auspicious path for a living entity, which brings forth his real glory, the living entity's real glory as the servant of Lord Krishna. And it is sati, this process is the most favorable. It is never vanquished. Bhadra and sati. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।